In this video, I'm going to show you two different methods for transferring your rough surface design onto good quality paper, which can be used for watercolor or gouache. And if you've seen my video on the wraparound method, you'll know how I arrived at this sketch. So the first thing I'm going to do, first method is with a light table. This is a very thin, lightweight light pad that I bought on Amazon for under $25. So I'm simply going to place my design onto the light table, and I'm going to tack it down with a couple pieces of tape, just very lightly. And then I'm going to place my good quality Bristol paper on top of it. And you can see I've already outlined my square area. And I'm just going to line it up. And using a couple pieces of tape, I'm going to also just tack it in place so it doesn't move. And it's actually almost the same size as my light table, so I'm going to just actually tack it to my cutting surface, just enough to hold it in place. And then using a lightweight pencil, I'm going to draw my design. One other tip I like to do is I want to extend the flowers or any elements that are bleeding off the square repeat area so that I can paint them in full. So let's just choose one side to do. So by completing this full flower, these four main flowers, in fact I want to catch this other one, what I will do when I go to paint this with gouache and watercolor is it'll allow me to paint the entire flower and disregard these half flowers, and that will save a lot of time in Photoshop when I have to do retouching. Here's an alternative method for transferring your design onto the good quality paper. In case you don't have a light table, this works exceptionally well. What we're going to do is use a product called Seural transfer paper. And there are other brands available as well. And it comes in different colors. I like to use graphite, which most closely resembles pencil. The white is extremely handy if you want to transfer your design onto a dark color paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay out my good quality paper, and I'm going to lay down my graphite paper, my transfer paper, face down. It's just like carbon paper, but made specifically for artists. And I'm also going to line up my design with the square. So you have to kind of move that out of the way a tiny bit. And I'm just going to tack this down in a couple places, right along the edge, and just scoot my transfer paper down a tiny bit. And I'm also going to go and tack these down together so it doesn't move. Kind of tuck that over so I have some space. And then I'm simply going to take a hard pencil or maybe even a ballpoint pen, something hard, and I'm going to press down and transfer my design. And let's just take a little peek to make sure it's transferring. Yes, see the pencil showing there. Now that you've traced over all the elements, you can peek underneath and make sure that you got everything. So I'm going to lift up each corner one at a time and just make sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to take my tape off. And there's my design. Now I can also go and reposition this now and do the same thing where I'm going to extend my elements outside. So I will go ahead and tack this in place. Actually, I'll do it on the outside. And I'm simply going to tack down two edges, and then I'm going to slip this under, and I'm just simply going to trace the elements that are sticking out, that are bleeding. And now the other side. So there you go. I now have two choices. The light table tracing is a little bit sharper, but the other one is just fine. And now I can either watercolor or gouache, or paint these with watercolor or gouache. I hope you found that helpful.